it irks me. Oh my god. Roll the music. Hello guys and girls, and welcome to another Wheelie Goood video. I'm here to talk to you about Apple. There have been a lot of things on my mind that I'm not happy about. And to be quite honest with you, these thoughts, these opinions have always been on the back burner for me since Steve Jobs' death. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a fangirl or anything, but this really bugs me. Oh, it irks me. Oh my god. Roll the music. Let it sink in. Alright. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. First and foremost, I have to say, I've been a big fan of Apple for as long as I can remember. But I didn't switch to Mac until 2013. A couple of weeks ago, Apple had a keynote and it was all about the 3 brand new iPhones coming to market. One of them I have in my hand. This is an iPhone 8 Plus Gold. I did a video, an unboxing for this over there in the little iCard. It's probably over here, knowing the camera mirroring me up. I refuse to wait for the iPhone 10. The price is ridiculous. When I first saw its unveil, is that the right word? I thought at first glance, pretty innovative, pretty creative, different. You know, it's not what Apple would usually do. So for me, it kind of signified the return of Apple's creative nature, its innovative nature. I saw a little glimpse of Steve Jobs in there, only a little bit, tiny bit. Being the geek that I am, I researched it a little further and I looked into the design. I began to realize this little thing at the top of the screen that they've identified as the notch. It's a major design flaw. I am an Apple geek. This house has maybe 4 iPhones in total. I have an iMac in this room and a MacBook Pro behind me. Not forgetting these little beauties. I have Apple Music. The only thing I don't have is an Apple Watch. And coming back to the iPhone 10 or the X, I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers have touched upon this subject. Apple made it look like it's a brand new design. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. When it has. Samsung was the first to come out with the OLED screen, believe it or not. Samsung supplies the new screens for the iPhone 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the keynote, Phil Schiller clearly said that they have been working on this design for years. For years. When in fact, what I believe he was really trying to say was, we've been trying to negotiate with Samsung for an appropriate deal, you know, to supply their screens on our new iPhones. It's marketing spiel. The one thing that big corporations do to make you buy their products. With this notch in the way, interfering with the screen with its fancy little facial recognition camera. This is all first generation. I believe in my heart of hearts that Apple had meetings with Samsung and their design crew to come up with a similar design for the iPhone S, the iPhone 10 that replicated the Samsung S7 or the S8 Plus with the OLED edge-to-edge screen. You expect your consumers to pay over £1,000 for the iPhone 10. And I know that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to get it. Maybe the ones that can afford it. With the notch placed here and causing interference with your media on screen is a huge downfall. The home button almost identical to the S8 operating system design, or the user experience where you just flick up, you're greeted with your home screen. I don't like it. I think that Touch ID should have remained on the 10 for now, for at least the first generation, because I'm not entirely convinced that facial recognition is going to run smoothly at its first try. It's not. The first generation iPhones never run smoothly. There's always a flaw. The 4 was the antenna gate, the 6 was the bender gate, and now they are talking about some iPhone 8 Pluses coming in the box split in half right here. Now this has got a case on it at the moment, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean when I say along this area right here it splits. If I can find pictures to show you, I will put them up now, and you will see what I mean, hopefully. I seriously think Apple isn't what they used to be. Apple no longer represents their old business model when they said we're all about creativity, we're all about innovation, and it's all about our customers. Do I need to talk about the absence of the headphone jack on the most recent iPhones, and the 7s and the 8s? Do I need to talk about how you're trying to market the Apple Watch when it's not even ready? I mean, when the Apple Watch was first released, the Series 1, I really wanted to cringe. I was like, uh-oh, they're not ready for this. They're really not ready for this. I mean, when they decided to release variations of the iPad, I was angry. I said to myself, why the hell are you guys bringing new iterations to a product, to an existing product, when you can afford to work and improve on your existing products? Spend the money on your existing products like the iPhone, the Macs, anything. You know, bring back the headphone jack. There was no reason for you guys to do that when you are well aware that not everyone is ready to go wireless. I was upset when that happened, and I know a lot of people who felt the same. Basically, it feels as if Apple forced its consumers to go wireless when the consumer wasn't ready or prepared. Basically, they force-fed this new technology. To be honest, I was open-minded, but I was angry at the same time. It should have been a process that should have been done gradually. Take away the headphone jack slowly. Bring in the Apple Watch slowly. You don't need to really compete with other corporations when you have $1 billion company. Only come out when you're ready. That is what Steve Jobs was really good at doing. He was patient. He wanted to only release products when he felt they were ready to be released. I've said this from day one, I'll say it again, even though my curiosity has kind of risen for the Apple Watch, but I'm not that curious that I want to go out and spend over £300, £400 for the Apple Watch. When Tim Cook talks at these keynotes, I just want to cringe. You don't have the same motivation as he did. You don't have the same spirit, the same vision as he did. Why are you acting like you do? You don't care about your customers right now. It's all about profit. Did you hear any of your customers saying that they were ready to go wireless? Did you hear any of your customers saying that they were willing to switch to USB-C on the new MacBook Pros? Did you hear any of your customers say that it was okay to remove the headphone jack on all future iPhones? Did you actually do any research? Or was this purely just to compete with your competitors, your rivals? I really can't stand Tim Cook. I need to show you something. When I purchased my MacBook Pro, almost immediately I had to go out and buy this. This is what we call a dongle. A USB dongle with an SD card slot. It's unnecessary, to say the least. How can Tim Cook sit there and say that Steve Jobs' spirit is still very much alive when you've removed the iconic gong from the Apple startup, when you've removed the headphone jack from your iPhones? And I know you're about to do the same with your next generation of computers. You're gonna completely eliminate the headphone jack. And all of these creative professionals are going to struggle and have to adapt to your new setup by getting numerous amounts of dongles. I want to talk about this. This is the new generation Magic Mouse. When I first saw this, I said, okay, nothing much changed here, except you have to plug it in right here to charge it when it's flat. Which means that you cannot use this mouse when it's charging because it has to lay like this on a desk with the glass facing down and wobbling like a freaking seesaw, which led me to purchase the Magic Trackpad. You can't force your customers to adjust. What I'm trying to say here is that to me it felt like with Steve Jobs it was a whole different matter. Again, yeah, for him it was about the money too, but he cared the most for his customers. He wanted to deliver for his customers, and I truly believe, as an Apple fan, that Tim Cook isn't doing it. Customer service and customer satisfaction is way over there on the back burner somewhere. Nowhere near in this vicinity. Nowhere near. People are so eager to create the latest and greatest thing. Creativity. Poof! Bye-bye! With Tim Cook in charge, Apple is in big trouble. Come on, you can't present an iPhone 10 with a notch. You just can't do it. And even if you do it, you have to find a way to prevent interference on the screen. You can't deliver the phone like that in its present state. That's not what design is about. At least for Steve Jobs and what Apple was about. You know, they were about the tiniest little things. Steve Jobs wanted to make sure that even the CPU boards for their Mac computers were all neat and tidy, presentable. He cared so much, as much for the internals as he did for the externals. It's the smallest little detail, and I don't think Steve Jobs, if he was alive today, I don't think he would have allowed or approved iPhone 10's design. No way. Go back to the drawing board, because that's not what I want. That's not what the consumer wants. Start from scratch. Otherwise, you're gonna get fired. You'd be spinning in his grave right now. That's all I've got to say. It's like a game of Jenga right now. Tim Cook is pulling the last few pieces left of Apple. As an Apple fan, as an Apple consumer, as a tech enthusiast, this scares me. Anyway, rambling over, I'm about to go and edit this and upload this for you guys. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Let me know what you think in the comments below of Apple's current status. I just wanted to share my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, guys and girls. This has been a really good cam chat. I'm your host, B, and stay tuned for so much more, because I've got more coming your way. Until my next video, guys and girls, this is B signing off for Wheelie Goood.